Welcome back. So on Friday, the Constitutional Court dismissed an application for leave to appeal by the Toni Peter Mphephu Ramabulana. He approached the Apex Court to have a Supreme Court of Appeal ruling that Masindi Clement Mphephu was eligible to lead the VhaVenda as Queen set aside. So for more on this now, we're joined by Ntsiyeni from the Masindi Mphephu Foundation. Ntsiyeni, thank you so much for your time this evening. Can you just talk to us exactly what does this Constitutional Court ruling actually mean for Masindi?
Well, the judge did indicate that the continuation of stay order prejudices Masindi. So if now he's no longer allowed to continue, then he's no longer having access to the resources which Masindi didn't have to fight this legal battle. So that is the essence of what this means for us.
So when you're saying that he no longer has the resources to fight this legal battle, is he still king? I mean, from what we understand, he's the uncle of Masindi. So is he still king of the VhaVenda?
Well, he was never king because in terms of the Framework Act, the process was supposed to be completed when he was inaugurated. And that is the inauguration that we stopped with an interdict in 2016 because we knew that if it goes ahead, then it will make our battle quite tougher. So you become a king if the process and the requirements of the Act are fulfilled. So he has been called king, but in terms of requirements of the Act, the process was supposed to be completed. But, well, that is not of essence in any way. But our issue is that the process will have to continue, the court process will have to continue until the merits of the princess case are exhausted by the High Court in Thohoyandou.
So in terms of just the way forward from here, and also where are the people now, the monarch, you know, the kingdom as well, are the people with the Princess Masindi, or are the people actually with now Toni Peter Ramabulana, the uncle?
Well, from where we are now, it is hard to tell. If Twitter and social media was anything to go by, we would say confidently that the people are very happy with this judgment. But in terms of occupation of the position, he is still sitting there at Zanani Royal Crawl, and he is still acting as the king. But the general mood of the people is that people are very, very happy, and the nature of congratulations that the princess has been getting indicates that the people have been long waiting for this type of a judgment to be delivered.
Yeah. Is there concern that this could potentially split the monarchy?
No, not really. I mean, the facts are very clear. Masindi is the daughter of Dimbanyika, and by VhaVenda customs and traditions, she was supposed to ascend. And by VhaVenda customs and traditions again, the regent must never be king. And that is what the House of Traditions did come up with. So this was really going to turn the tradition upside down, because it will be probably for the first time that you have a regent becoming king, and that was going to open a lot of can of worms. You go throughout the whole African traditions and customs when it comes to kingship. A regent, by default of becoming a regent, doesn't become a king.
Yeah. So then, in essence, it would appear as though it seems to be another case of someone who's been given the caretaker role of power and who refuses to relinquish power. Just to bring us context to this conversation, I mean, when did it all go wrong? So from what we understand, he was supposed to be regent until the rightful time that Masindi ascends to the throne, and it would appear as though there's now almost a reneging on that agreement. Where did it go wrong?
Well, in terms of the evidence collected so far, it was indicated that when Masindi was 5 and there was an installation of a regent, traditionally she was supposed to be covered with the skin together with Toni. And the night before the event, those who are close to Masindi, they were informed that it's not going to happen. So that is where the whole thing started, because if she was not included, it meant that then she's not going to ascend. However, in 2010, after the Nhlapho Commission had recognized the Mphephu Ramabulana family as the ones who should be king, people were waiting to get a second commission to identify who exactly should ascend to power. But in that process, as they waited, then the then president recognized Toni Mphephu, and he was about to inaugurate him in August, in September 13, 2016. And that's when now the Masindi team obtained an interdict which was then reversed by Judge Makgowa in December, with the hope that they would inaugurate Toni in January. And then the Masindi team then immediately petitioned the SCA, and the rest is history. The SCA then set aside both the decisions of the royal family and the decision of the president.
Yeah. Just to clarify matters here, you're speaking about the former president, Jacob Zuma. In essence,
Yes.
What was the brief, right? So if you're having the former president, Jacob Zuma, who was going to be inaugurating somebody who, to your point, saying that it's not the rightful king, he is rather the regent who was supposed to then hand over the throne to Princess Masindi. Why is it that then there was that agreement and the former president even went as far as wanting to inaugurate someone who was supposed to be a regent? Were you aware that this was going to happen? Was that allowed to happen? What made way for that to happen in the first place?
What made way for that to happen is what also the SCA said, that the decision by the royal family to identify Toni was wrong in terms of the act. And the fact that they did mention that a woman cannot ascend to power was contrary to the Bill of Rights of the Constitution. So that was wrong. That's the first part. The recognition by the president should follow after the family has sent the name. So you may not entirely blame President Zuma if the family has recommended, but the problem started there with the recommendation of the family. But what the court said now was that the president should have investigated and found the facts before he recognized. Hence, we find that they awarded the cost and said the presidency must pay. It's because they say they are the one who started this whole unlawful process. So what was supposed to happen is that they should have followed the Framework Act to the latter and make sure that everything is done according to the rule of the Act.
Yeah. Does the family recognize Princess Masindi Mphephu as the rightful heir to the throne?
Well, they don't speak much. We can only speculate, but by the look of things, you can only have some who says they know the truth, but they wouldn't be able to speak. But through their actions up to this far, we may as well say they do not, because the whole history of her ostracization and the persecution speaks volumes about their position with regard to her ascending to the throne.
Yeah, but then does that not cause a concern then for you as a foundation that even though there's this constitutional court ruling that is in place, that you'll find that the family will also be trying to fight her ascension, and this could take years before she sees herself sitting on the throne? Furthermore to that, that she may be losing the loyalty of the subjects through this court proceeding.
Loyalty is one thing, but facts are facts, and the process that is being followed is legal. So loyalty shifts anytime, so it's not a big deal. But I think the judge did say that heavy is the head that wears the crown. Princess Masindi also says that there's no easy walk to the throne. So she has made peace with the fact that it might take very long. It has taken 9 years, and it might take another 9 years. But the fight for justice, it can take forever. It took many, many hundreds of years for South Africa to get freedom. So it might take her 10, 15 years for her to ascend to a throne. She knows that this road won't be easy.
Is she worried about her safety?
We're always worried about the safety. But I mean, she was raised by her uncle, and I think it's a natural thing to expect that something might happen. But for all these years, I think everything has been put in the hands of God to say, if anything happens, then fate will have decided. But look, if you're worried about safety, sometimes you don't need to be paranoid about it. But yes, she does take a safety quite serious.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Ntsielechi Tomboni, who is from the Masindi Mphephu Foundation, just giving us the latest insight in terms of that constitutional court ruling on Friday, dismissing an application for leave to appeal by Toni Peter Mphephu Ramabulana, who is, by the way, the uncle of Princess Masindi.